We went a bit sidetracked from the whole grading conversation.
That's
sorry about that.
No, that's the nature of podcast, bro. That's what happened. But with the karate thing, though, how did you become world champion? Tell us about the road.
The road to that.
Yeah, to world champion. Like,
it's a long road.
Said, are you got deep in the term, fam?
That's a world champion.
World champion. That means the best in the... No, go on, talk to me.
You're only as good as your last tournament. You know, like I was the best on a day of a tournament. And again, this was years ago. Just for people out there, I'm not bigging myself up here. This was years ago. I put the work in. But it kind of started again. Like I started going to school. Friend Montel, you know Montel. I don't know. Have you ever met Montel? No, don't know about him. Went to the same primary school. He was always doing this karate style Kyokushin that I do now. And his mum used to look after me on a Thursday because my mum and dad were working late. You know, provide for me and my sister kind of thing. So she'd childmind me, and they'd always do karate after school. And I always just sit and watch it. Do you know what I mean? But then, like how everyone's with Cobra Kai now, you kind of watch it and go, "Oi, I want to kick a guy in the head. I can do that. I want to punch a guy. I want to shout at a guy and throw my leg up there." So, you know, eventually I got into it, and I ended up massively falling in love with it. You know, and it wasn't just the falling in love with it; it was also a self-defense aspect of it because I was bullied. I got bullied quite a bit in primary school and secondary school. Like within past year 9 in secondary school, I feel like it kind of mellowed out. Because everyone was a bit more mature.
Everyone knew don't need them karate.
Yeah,
no one really
it
thought,
kind of
he
like,
might do Jackie Chan on you still.
Do you know what it was? I think there was a guy who did pick on me in like year 8, and I remember swinging my back at him and like made him bleed.
Oh,
and then after that, it kind of changed. But
you banged him?
I didn't bang him. I hit him with my bag. Like I can't just step back. My bag swung and it hit him in the face.
Oh, night bag.
Yeah. No, not the little Just Do It bags. No, it's like a PE bag, just like trainers in it. It was a complete accident. But after that, it wasn't even the karate thing, but after that, people realised the karate thing. And it kind of mellowed out from there. But no, it was more or less, I wanted to be a bit fitter because I was a chunky boy. I love a biscuit. I was a chunky boy. So it just started from there. Self-defense, a little bit of fitness, time passing. And then as you get a bit older, I moved house, and I had to change dojos. And I moved to Crystal Palace. And there was a dojo in Crystal Palace run by a guy called, we call him Hanshi. His grade is Hanshi, but his name is Steve Arnill. And he's the guy who brang Kyokushin over from Japan. So he's not the guy who originated it. He trained under the guy who originated, Sosai Masayama. Okay. And he brang it to the UK in 1950, 1960 something. So it's still a pretty recent thing. And he was teaching that club. He was the head instructor of that club. So I was training there while I was at Crystal Palace, and eventually he come up to my mum and dad and was like, "Where do you guys live?" Because we moved house again. And we told him where we lived, and he was like, "You need to take him to Crawley. You need to take him to Crawley Dojo under Shian David. Take him there. I've done what I can for him here. Take him there." And they were like, "Okay, cool." And obviously, me being young, I had no idea this was going on behind the scenes. I didn't know none of this until like a few years ago, and they told me that. And then following that, I went to Crawley Dojo, and my life just changed from there because it's like what I'd been doing at Crystal Palace was good, but these guys were on another level. These guys were knockdown fighters. These were fighters. Before I was doing like basic kumite, basic fighting, you know, point scoring stuff, not contact stuff, point scoring stuff, basics, routines, katas. Come to Crawley, they're doing all of that, and this bizarre these guys are hitting each other. I'm a kid, and these guys are low kicking each other. They're punching hard. And I'm sitting there going, "Mum, I don't." Mum is gonna hit me.
I ain't ready for this one.
I'm not ready for this one. Yeah, I was like, why are you bringing me here? What's going on? And you know what? I love my mum and dad to bits for it because there were periods throughout my 13 to 17-year-old life where I want to give up. I'm crying. I want to give up. I don't want to do this anymore. It's too hard. I don't want to do it. It's affecting my school life. No, I can't see any of my friends. And it is lonely. It does get lonely, especially because, and the only reason it's lonely is because you dedicate yourself so much to something. It's not a hobby for me anymore. It's part of me. Do you know what I mean? I want to do it. I love it. And it's just one of those things where if my mum and dad hadn't said to me, "Get your ass out the car and get in that dojo," or "Get up, don't cry, you got this." Like I can remember like the world champion thing. There were times where selections for squad, selecting for the GB team, I've been going to these selections, training my arse off, training, trying to get into that team. Why am I not getting in the team, man? They're not picking me. What's going on? I had to think to myself, what the fuck? What's going on? Why am I getting picked? I remember every single time, not every single time, like, you know when you get fed up, you kind of like, right, I'm not getting picked now. There's some bullshit going on. What's going on? I'm absolutely working. So I remember I looked over at my dad. He said, don't cry. Don't cry. Don't you fucking cry till you get to that car. I got into the car, broke down. I absolutely broke down in front of my dad. And bearing in mind, I'm like 14, 15 here. So it's kind of like a little whiny thing. But, you know, everyone gets vulnerable. Everyone works hard on that. We all have moments where we break down, especially like during this lockdown kind of thing. But broke down in front of my dad, and he was like, why are you crying? I'm like, why is he not picking me? I'm working so hard. And he went, you just got to be patient. You just got to be patient with it. You got to keep doing what you're doing. You got to stick to it. You're good at it because you've worked at it. He told me I'm not talented. I'm not talented, bro.
The straight truth.
No. And it's a reality check because I'm not. People who I meet now, because they know me through karate, like karate people go, oh my God, you're awesome. You know, you're awesome. You're so talented. You work so hard. And I stop. I'm like, I'm not talented. Don't ever tell me I'm talented. I've worked to get where I am in karate. In karate, I've worked to get here. I've sweated. I've cried. I've bled to get here. Yeah, and I still do. It's not like I've got here and I'm stopping it. And it's like people don't seem to get that because talent. Don't get me wrong. If you're talented at something, good for you. Because that's a skill. That's a talent. If you're a talented footballer, fantastic. But talent doesn't want to work hard. And if talent doesn't work hard, that's where they come off the wagon a little bit. Yeah. Now, if someone with some worked as hard, let's say as me, they're going to be phenomenal, man. They're going to be incredible.
If talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah,
hard
exactly.
work beats talent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hard work will always beat talent.
It's
a classic saying. Hard work will beat talent, always. And that I was a definition of that a few years ago. Again, especially when doing this karate tournament, because I got into that team, and because it was hosted in Great Britain, we were allowed more people in the team. Okay. So maybe it was for that reason. I don't know. But I got into the team, and it was a 2-day tournament. You fight up to the semi-finals on the first day, and then the finals on the second day. So you're battered, you're bruised on the next day. Now, everyone in that team, apart from me and 2 other people, so I think there was like 10 of us, so 7 people lost in those first 2 rounds. Me and this girl called Hayley and a boy called Marco, we got to those finals, and I thought, I'm doing all right. Yeah. I'm just, but I was like focused. I was switched on. I was like, and this was knockdown. This was the full contact thing at this point. This wasn't no point scoring. This was knockdown. So I was like, okay, I know because I'd been at Crawley with she and Dave. I knew what I was doing. I'd been trained for it. I'd been drilled into it. And again, I persevered through that training, and I think that helped with my schoolwork a little bit as well, to be honest. Yeah. Because again, it gave me that patience. Yeah, that discipline. It gave me that discipline and patience. When you get some guy chatting absolute I'm not naming names. But you get some guy who chats absolute shit all the time.
Well, the teacher or student?
Both. Both. Mainly students. And it's just like, you just want time to shut up and fuck off so you can just get on with certain things. They just don't. But it just gave me that extra sort of patience for it. And it's made me so patient these days as well. I can't tell you how patient I am with certain things. And I'm so happy and fucking so thankful that Mum and Dad pushed me on that course. Montel, like if I hadn't met Montel, I don't think I'd be here. If I hadn't met Montel, I don't think I would have done it. So I can't thank him enough. I tell him all the time. I tell him I was like, Mrs. Mum, Miss Diane. She used to cook it for us as well. I love Diane's cooking. It's one of those discipline things where you got to work hard, you got to stick to it, and then obviously championships come. 3 of us into those finals. It was like, right, okay, got to do this, got to go for it, and it happened. And when I say I'm a world champion, I'm on the podium. Yeah, I'm on the podium of the world champion. I never won it. I never came first. Never came first on it. Never came first on that. That's why I don't consider myself a world champion, because I didn't come first. But I was on that podium. And I thought, you know what? I worked really hard to get here. Everyone's always telling me, no, you're a champion. You're a world champion. You got on that podium at a world tournament. You're a champion.
So wait, once you got on the podium, where did you come then? Second,
third.
Okay.
So like what it is you have a fight off kind of thing, and then obviously whoever fights the winner comes second, and then you fight another table in a sort of tournament system, and then it works out that way. So I came third in the world tournament. But people always tell me, no, that's a champion. You're a world champion. You placed in a world championship. You're a world champion. I kind of say to myself, there's a part of me which agrees with them, but there's that little twitch in me. It was like, No, I didn't. I didn't work hard enough to get there. I need to work harder, and that's my fault. That's my flaw. My flaw is I always think I've got to work harder. But it's one of those. It's unhealthy sometimes because it's like you'll be doing like I'm a advocate for overtraining. Sometimes I always tell my clients, you got to rest. You got to rest, man. You can't overtrain. An hour later, I'm overtraining. I'm overtraining myself. Do you know what I mean? That's just because I've got that mentality, and if I want to be the best, I have to train like the best. I have to train as hard as I can, because if I slack off, I'm not going to be the best. You've seen the McGregor and Dustin fight recently. He's been slacking off, man. He's slacking off, and he got beaten. Fair enough. And he knows that. He understands that. He's been posting it all the time. So it's one of those things where you just got to work hard for it. And that was really a turning point, that championship, to me. A proper turning point. Because I understood then, I'm good enough. I'm good enough to be where I am. I do deserve this. Because there's a whole backstory of mental health with me in that film. I'm not going to go into it. But it's like you're doubting yourself constantly. You always have that self-doubt, that little voice in the back of your head telling you, you're not good enough, kind of thing. And I always felt that throughout school as well. Always, especially while training. So it was like, that was the massive turning point for me. And it just really gave me a confidence boost. And that's kind of where it started leading me to where I am today, with my more knockdown fighting, again, fighting in European championships, fighting in world championships. And don't get me wrong, I haven't placed in a little while. I ain't been doing that well. But it's because everything's changing. You're getting newer, younger fighters with a different style of training, and there's training's always evolving, man. You've seen all this Eastern European training; they are machines, and it's because you know what it is. It's like they're bred. It's like they're bred to do it, and like they're being it gets paid for, it gets sponsored and all that kind of stuff. I don't do it all day, every day like they do, so I have to take that into consideration. But I'm still keeping up with them. So I think to myself, imagine if I did do that. Imagine if I was able to be paid for to do it all the time. I'd be a